All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started. So hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me today for our webinar on mastering the LexBlog platform. My name is Aimee Wildstone, and I am the manager of the success team at LexBlog. So for those new to LexBlog, the success team is responsible for delivering support and training for the tools that help our blog publishers contribute to our growing network. Before we get started, I want to thank my super team behind the scenes, our marketing lead, Caroline Hess, and our business analyst, Chris Grimm. Caroline and Chris are working to field all of your questions during the webinar. At the end of the webinar, we'll have a few minutes to answer a few questions. We might not get to all of your questions during this webinar, but don't worry. We will be sending out a full transcript, a video recording, and answers to the remainder of your questions in a follow-up blog post, and this will be emailed to you later in the week. During the webinar, please click on the chat button at the bottom of your viewing screen, and this will open the right side chat menu, and you can submit any questions you have there. Chris will be fielding your questions throughout the webinar. So today's webinar will feature a set of tools we've crafted for blog administrators called the Site Settings Tools. I realized the importance of sharing these tools with you today because many of our blog administrators may not know these tools exist, or they may not know that these tools are helpful for reviewing and maintaining important settings on your blog. During this webinar, I'm going to talk about our Site Settings Tools menu and demonstrate how blog administrators can use this menu to configure or update those settings. So what are the Site Settings Tools? As I mentioned, the Site Settings Tools is a menu in your blog dashboard that offers administrators advanced controls to configure, review, or update your blog settings and connected services. The tools in this menu are organized into 7 different tabs that each offer controls for managing different services or features on your blog. With this menu, you can update your blog title or tagline, your firm information, contact forms, comment moderator or email notification settings, analytics tracking, SEO settings, and your social share meta all from one menu in your dashboard. So how can you or I use the Site Settings menu? This menu, how can I access the Site Settings menu? That's my next question. So this menu is available to blog administrators on Product Plan or Premier Network sites. And what this means is your blog must be on our Product Plan software or on a Premier Network site. And you must have administrator access on your blog to gain access to these tools. So how can I use the Site Settings menu? You can use the Site Settings tools to configure and set up a new blog. You can also use these Site Settings tools to review the current settings on your blog and update them. And if you want to, you can even launch your own site using these tools. Next, I'm going to demonstrate our Site Settings tools and talk about the practical use for each tab in this menu. So let's get started. Give me just a moment here to transition here to my sharing screen. Okay, I just want to make sure that everyone can see my screen and you still hear me. Great. Alrighty, so the first tab I'll show you is the Site Information tab. So the Site Information tab is where you can go to set or update your blog's title, tagline, publishing zone, and your firm's information globally across your blog. This tab is helpful for configuring settings for your new blog or reviewing and updating settings on your live blog. Updating your blog's title or tagline will change these settings in the masthead, the footer, and meta settings across your blog. For my example, I have an example blog name and blog tagline. The time zone is the time zone that your publishers are writing in. So to set this, you just want to select the city closest to where your publishers are. For me in Seattle, that's going to be Los Angeles. And the reason you want to set this is so that when your publishers are publishing posts, that time zone matches their time zone. And for when they are scheduling posts, it's going to be publishing in the time that they expect. It's also helpful if there's any publishing issues we have to troubleshoot. Updating your firm name will update this in your in your copyright, and also on any widget on the blog that's displaying your firm name or firm website. So I'm going to update that. I'm going to add my firm website. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and submit these changes. Great, and I get a confirmation at the top of my screen that the settings were updated, so I know that that was successful. The next tab I'm going to show you is the Import Users tab. The Import Users tab is a tool we've built for bulk uploading many new users at once, and this can save time from manually adding and configuring new user profiles. This tab is best used when you're setting up a new blog and have a lot of brand new users to create, but you can also use it after your blog is live to bulk import users as well. For example, if you have a new practice group that wants to start publishing on an existing blog, you can use this tool to bulk upload these new users. To use this tab, all you have to do is click the link here to download the CSV template and then open that in an editor of your choice. I have set that up already. I used a Google Sheet to fill this out. So when filling this out for the first time, there's a column at the top that describes each item that is required. And if you're not sure what the requirements are for each of these columns, you can actually click the second row in each column. That gives you a description of what each item is for and any special requirements there are. So for example, for your user's username, it has to be all lowercase and you can't have any spaces or special characters. So that's just one thing to note. So I've already filled this out and added some test editor, author, and contributor. I'm going to go ahead and save this file. It's important to, when you save this file, that you save it as a text base or a comma separated values CSV file so that WordPress can recognize that file. I'm going to go ahead and bulk import my users. Takes a moment for the users to be created. Great. So that was successful, and I know this because of my confirmation message at the top here. And it's good to check that each time you bulk import users just to make sure there were no errors when you were setting them up. The next tab is the Contact Forms tab. This tab is helpful for setting or updating the contact form recipients on your blog. You can add multiple recipients by separating with a comma between the email addresses. And then after you save this form, a test email is sent to your recipients automatically, and that's just so that they can see what the contact form message looks like, and they can know what to expect if they receive a contact form message from the blog. If your blog has multiple contact forms, you can select the alternate contact forms from the drop-down menu and update them in the same fashion. And lastly, this page also includes the embed code. So this is the code that you would copy and paste into your pages if you want to paste a contact form onto a page on your blog. The next tab I'm going to share with you is the email notifications tab. This tab is helpful for creating or updating your blog's email list and campaign settings. This tab is best used when you are setting up your blog's email list and campaign for the first time, or if you need to review or change any of these settings on your live blog. When setting up a brand new list and campaign or updating an existing list or campaign, a ticket is generated automatically on your behalf for the success team to review and QA your list and campaign settings. To create your email list, we automatically generate a list name based off the settings on your blog, so you can leave that default. You'll want to enter your firm name the way you would like it to appear in your email campaigns. You'll also enter a physical mailing address, and this is a requirement for CAN spam requirements. So let's see. And lastly, you'll enter the from name. This is the name that will appear in email clients showing your from name. So we'll go ahead and add, oops. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and create my list. This might take a moment here. Great. So I received a notification message at the top that my subscriber list is created. So now I can create my email campaign below. So to create your email campaign, you'll want to choose an email subject line from the drop-down menu. I'm going to go ahead and go with my blog title and the title of my post. The next thing you're going to select is your daily email send time from the drop-down. I'm going to go ahead with 10 a.m. You also can choose the send frequency. You can choose daily, weekly, or monthly intervals for sending emails. I'm just going to go ahead with daily. And then lastly, you can choose what days of the week your emails will send. Typically, a lot of firms will just choose Monday through Friday, so I'm going to do that. And then click Create Campaign. It takes a moment because it's communicating with MailChimp via API. And then once that is done being created, one more thing to show you on this tab. Great. So I received my confirmation message that my email campaign's been created and that a support request has been opened on my behalf. And then finally, once your email list and campaign are created, you can also send yourself a test email so you can preview what your email campaigns will look like before they send to your subscribers. One more thing I will call your attention to is the status in the email campaigns tab. I'm actually going to switch over to a live blog to show you this. So when checking your email campaign status, you might see a few things. You might see not activated, or you'll see not ready, which was the status on my test blog. What those mean is that LexBlog needs to activate your new campaign, but don't worry, we have created a ticket on your behalf, and we will take care of the rest of the setup on the launch day for your blog. Active status means that your campaigns are currently sending to your subscribers. So if you, for any reason, you need to pause or stop sending emails, you can choose pause from the drop-down, then click change campaign status. And this has paused my campaign and it's not sending to my subscribers. To restart my campaign, I can just choose resume and change campaign status. Now my blog is active, or my campaign is active and sending emails to subscribers once again. The next tab I'm going to show you is the Domain tab. The Domain tab is helpful for purchasing your blog's live domain through LexBlog or entering the live domain you purchased from your own registrar to connect to your site. You can also use this tab to update your domain's name servers to LexBlog's name servers. And one thing I will note is you can only use this tab before you launch your new blog. After your blog is pointed to your live domain, you will see a message on this tab that your site is launched. For the purpose of our demo, I already searched for a blog domain, so I'm going to go ahead and purchase it, but I will point out that you do have the ability, if I wanted to change my mind, I can search for another domain. Or if I've already purchased a domain, I can actually enter that domain in this field and add it to my site. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and purchase a domain. And again, this might take a minute. Great. So I have a confirmation that my domain has been ordered. So a few more things I'll call your attention to on this page. There's two statuses below. There's a domain pointing status, and there's a launch status. What these are for is just letting you know the status and where you are in these steps. And the reason you might need to use these is it sometimes takes time to order the domain. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. And it sometimes takes up to 24 hours for your name server changes to complete. So you can always come back to this tab later after you have purchased a domain or after you attempted to set your name servers, and you can check the domain pointing status. Once your domain name servers are set, you will see a status here to point your domain, and that's only if you want to launch your site. So don't click that unless you want to launch your site. Okay. So I'll come back to this later and see if we can set the name servers. For now, it's still ordering. Okay. The next tab I'm going to share with you is the Discuss Comments tab. The Discuss Comments tab is helpful for setting up your Discuss site for moderating comments on your blog. You can also use this tab to create your Discuss account and add or remove comment moderators after your blog is live. So if you need to change your comment moderators, you can do that through this tab. The status indicates whether you have Discuss connected with your blog. So to set up Discuss, the first thing you'll need to do is go to discuss.com and sign up for a moderator account. Once you've done that, just note your username you created, and you can add that in the next step to set up your Discuss account. And I've already created a Discuss, or I already have a Discuss username, so I'm going to do that. So this is my Discuss moderator username. Just added that there. Oh, the Twitter handle. So if anybody ever shares comments on Twitter, this just automatically tags you in those comments, in those tweets, I should say. I'm going to go ahead and set up my Discuss account. All you have to do is enter the moderator name and then click Submit. You can also set this up too, just by clicking Submit if you don't have a moderator account yet. It might take a moment here to set it up because it is trying to connect with Discuss. Great. And then we'll see that my Discuss settings were saved successfully. And now my status says that my site is connected with Aimee's test blog. All right, so the last tab I want to share with you, it's probably the most powerful tab and probably the tab that I see most administrators maybe visiting more often. This is our SEO tab. And the SEO tab is helpful for configuring or updating your blog's title tags and meta. your social sharing meta, and for verifying your blog ownership for your analytics and webmaster tools properties. You can also control whether your blog is indexing or hidden from search engines after your blog launches. So on this tab, you can create or modify your homepage title tags. These are the title tags. Oh, and meta description. So your title tags will appear in your browser, but they also appear in search engine results. So when someone's searching on Google or Bing and they come across your site, unless it's a post keyword that they've found and it's an individual post page, if your site comes up, this is what people will see in search engine results, this title and the meta description that you enter. You also have the ability to modify your author archive title tags as well. And these are the pages or the landing pages for your author's content. So these come up pretty often in search results as well. And we recommend setting some type of, so your title tag key terms should be something like your geography or your practice area term, followed by your firm name. You can also add or update meta for when people share your content on a social platform. So entering your Twitter username or your firm's LinkedIn page or your firm's Facebook page, what this does is when someone shares your content on these platforms, you're automatically tagged in that meta and it's associated with your account, which is just helpful for you to be able to track who's sharing your content. Another really helpful tool here is setting a default title and a default image that will appear in link previews. And this is for Facebook, but I believe it also updates Twitter and LinkedIn Meta as well. So what this does is if somebody shares the homepage of your blog, not necessarily an individual post, this title will appear in the preview and this image will appear in the preview when someone just shares your main landing page. You can also add a default description that will appear if someone shares your homepage on a sharing platform as well. And lastly, this is another helpful tool. The default, when someone shares your post on social media, it's going to show the title of your post and it's going to show an excerpt from your post content and it's going to show any imagery you have in that post in the link preview. But if you don't have any imagery in your post, you can actually set a default image here to display when someone shares your content. And this is different from your homepage. This would be for post pages. And lastly, after your blog is launched on your live domain, you can create the domain properties for your webmaster and analytics accounts and verify those with this tool. I'm going to go to a live site to show you this. So entering your Google Webmaster Tools or Bing Webmaster Tools verification code will verify you as the domain owner, and that will allow search traffic and any other data to populate in those accounts that you create or LexBlog creates. And then entering your Google Analytics tracking code is what verifies you're the owner of your site and allows analytics data to populate in your property. Lastly, if you ever need to, you also have the ability after your site is live to disallow or allow indexing. This is particularly helpful if you accidentally launch your blog, which I've seen happen before. If you need to turn off indexing, you can also do that here. All right, so this concludes my demonstration. Give me a moment here to switch back to my screen. Can everyone see the screen okay? Okay, great. So this wraps up my demonstration portion of the webinar. Before I answer your questions, I want to pass on some helpful resources for you. If you would like more information about how you can access the site settings tools, or if you have comments or feedback, please contact us using the contact information below, which you probably all know the Success team. Check out our publishing solutions, and our support center is a great resource for finding more information about site settings.